Hey guys, this is Russ, and this is She Wolf Alchemy. And today we're doing another check in. This time, talking about a feeling you get when you recognize nobody's coming to save you. Now, before I get started, I do want to say I know last week I was like, I probably released 2 episodes because I actually had to record it. And the reason I didn't release 2 is because October was kicking my ass. And so though I had to record it, I was like, dang, but if I release both, I was going to have an episode for Sunday, the previous Sunday. So I ended up just releasing it as my regular Sunday episode. My bad for that, y'all. I really thought I was going to have more energy, more time. I just really didn't. It has definitely been a year of just things unexpectedly creeping up on me. Hopefully some good unexpected things will start creeping up on me. So that is what happened there. But let's get into today's episode, because this one is for the version of you who's tired, and not in that like I need a nap kind of tired, though that sounds amazing, but that deep soul exhaustion that comes when you realize like, damn, I think this is all on me. No, nobody's coming to save me. And here's the thing, there is a certain grief that might come with that, because sometimes that can hit you like a slow ache at first, something that's dull, a confusing type of grief. Because I think for a lot of us, we grow up with this tiny piece of hope tucked inside of us that maybe, just maybe someone's gonna show up with a missing key. Whether that be a mentor, a lover, a friend, seeing you for real this time. But then as the clock keeps ticking, you look around and realize, damn, it's just me. And it might just be me. And sometimes that realization can feel like it's breaking something in you. There's a grief that comes with knowing you've been waiting for a backup that might not be on its way. And let's be very clear, this is not self-pitying, but it's okay to mourn the version of you that believed in being rescued. That part of you that thought, if I was good enough, patient enough, kind enough, someone would notice my effort and say, hey, that's a lot to carry. Let me help you carry this. And I've seen this happen a lot as we age, right? There becomes this kind of moment, I think, for a lot of people where you realize, fuck, no one might help me carry this. And it can be like a lonely type of baptism. That moment you stop hoping for someone else to do what you've been having to do all by yourself all along. And this can look like many different things. This can look like I need help with my finances and I am doing everything I can. I went to school, I got the job, I worked the hours. Oh, that's not enough. I got the second job, I got the third job, I took up contracts, I did my side hustle, and thinking like, damn, eventually I'm going to have a partner that helps me with this, right? Or thinking, damn, I'm doing all this effort, I'm making all this work. Somebody's going to notice and somebody's going to invest in me. Somebody's going to see all that I'm putting in and they're going to be like, yeah, all she needs is the right people behind her. All he needs is the right funding. But you're putting in more and more and it's literally just not happening. This can look like stepping up for the family and being the one that takes in the family member when their parents ain't doing right, and this person, mama's going off on a spiritual journey to find themselves, and this person, aren't taking care of big mama like they need to. And you're doing all the things because you were told, hey, if you just do this for 3 months, if you just help out a little bit, and if you do your part, I'll do my part. And then next thing you know, it's been years and you've been the only one doing their part. And you kept having hope, like, no, eventually my brother's going to step up. Eventually my auntie's going to do what she said she's going to do. Eventually my child's mother is going to come in and be the person they're going to be because I keep giving them so much grace. This can look like being on a job and putting in the work, doing the teamwork by your fucking self. Saving the company on multiple occasions on nothing but your grit alone, thinking, okay, but I'm doing all this because they see my effort and they said they're going to hire somebody else. They said me working these extra long hours was only going to be temporary, but now it's been 2 years. And they're very unappreciative. This can be that doing all these things because you're looking for a mentor and you're hoping this person was going to take you up under wings and you're hoping that you go into this space. Oh, my women of color, especially, I've seen this a lot of like going into a space and really hoping you find a mentor. And you're like, oh my gosh, there's all these other women of color and they're like all these other women here and they are trailblazers. They made it so great. And I just want to soak up their knowledge and learn from them. And you're trying to make meetings again to know them. You're helping them out on extra projects and so forth. Under the guise this is leading toward mentorship, only to find out that not only do they not want to be your mentor, they are willing and going to throw you under the bus. You were expendable to them. It can feel devastating when you thought you were working towards some type of team effort and unity and having to realize, damn, I might have to lock in all on my own. And when you're in that lock-in phase, you can find yourself saying, okay, all right, cool, cool, cool. It's me. I'm gonna just do it on my own. If it's just me, I guess I'll just have to do it. And many people have had to do it alone. And so you tell yourself, okay, that's just the game. That's what it is for some of us. Those are the cards some of us get. And it can feel selfish or almost like we're being a brat because we're like, fuck, this is not what I thought it would look like. But here's the thing, no one really warns us about how much locking in on your own is not glamorous, right? Because there's sometimes we get told about how this looks and it's like big boss energy, right? It is girl boss doing a damn thing. Yeah, I don't need nobody. But like in the highlight reel that you see online where people are bossing up overnight, one, they make it seem like it's overnight, and it's usually not. It's gritty. For a lot of people, it's quiet. For a lot of people, it can be lonely. Sometimes it is crying at your desk at 1 a.m. while still having to finish out that memo. It's going to the gym even though your heart is bruised and you just cried your whole way over from the office to the gym. It can be cooking dinner for one while that person who did you dirty, who did you grimy, who didn't even say sorry is living their best life with someone else, someone who's locking in with them, caring, being there, being supportive. And you're sitting there like, damn, I did all the things right. I was loving, I was caring, I was communicative. I was going to therapy. I was working on myself. I was helping them. I was in fuck. I did all the things. This is not how it should look. But here's the thing. Locking in does not mean you stop feeling. It just means you keep showing up even while you feel. And that's a hard feat. And the truth of the matter is you might not be able to do that every day. And that's okay. And that's what the real power is. It's in that quiet consistency. That moments that nobody else claps for. The moments that don't make for great Instagram moments and captions. But it's the foundation for the person you are becoming. And it's okay to have a little resentment with that person you're becoming. I'll be real. I tell y'all all the time, I have so much resentment in my healing journey. And if you're a listener to the podcast, I've mentioned this several times over the years of like how one of the things that still kind of gets me sometimes is like, I feel like the less healed version, because yeah, I am still a work in progress. Yeah, anyone who tries to love me, very much a work in progress. But I definitely felt like before there was a lot of, you know, I guess we don't call them toxic. It's technically toxic traits, right? That as toxic as they were, there were certain things I never had to deal with because they kept me safe from. There were certain situations I never had to be in because people knew not to even play that with me. And as I began to heal, I remember like there were certain situations that came about in my life that really hurt and really caught me off guard. And I had to sit there and handle them in the healing rest way. I couldn't go back to rest from dating. I couldn't go back to like, I was no longer in a space where my mind even operated in a way for me to handle things the way I used to. And it frustrated me because I was like, they need to know who the fuck they dealing with. That was a huge thing for me. And that's anybody who knows my father, my biological father, they would know why. That's a huge thing for me. I definitely grew up, with certain strong entities and people and relationships in my life that's how they operated. They operated in the way that they love was by teaching people lessons. And so that, obviously rubbed off on me. And so I know as myself, as I was healing and I was learning to operate with people differently, I would get some resentment because I would like communicate and I would be like, I don't need to punish these people. And you know what? The universe is going to take care of this. And then I would go sit up in my room and be pissed at myself. Like, so we pussy now? Like, that's how we handle things. And it's so funny to me. But like, here's the thing, it can come with some anger and some resentment. Because let's be real, sometimes it is frustrating when you look around and see people who have support systems who get to fall apart and they have someone that catch them. And I think it's natural to feel that sting, to have a moment of why not me? Why do I always have to be the strong one? Why did they get to grow up in a very loving, safe, supportive family? And like, I'm almost 40 and my family don't even know the real me. Or why does this person, every time they break up with somebody, immediately here comes somebody else and they're always great, loving people. And I ain't even had a crush since 2019, you know? Those are normal things to feel. Or I work my ass off. I got all these degrees. I work so hard at all these extra trainings, all these extra activities, trying to work my way up the ladder and trying to form bonds in the community and people in my field that can help mentor me and shape me. And I feel like I'm always getting burned. And then here come Lisa. She was bottom of our fucking class. She went to the same high school with this woman. And so now she always looks out for her. She's always first for promotion. She don't even do the job well. It's okay to have that feeling every now and then. The truth of the matter is, anger isn't the enemy. It's the unprocessed grief trying to be seen. You're allowed to have moments of anger, of frustration, even some moments of jealousy. The trick is, what do you do with those moments? The trick is to not drown in those moments. It's about learning how to let anger be your wake up call and not simply your new address. Because if you stay in your anger too long, that is when anger becomes your identity. And you deserve more than to live a life as the person who never got saved. That does not have to be your story. That does not have to be the defining marker of who you are. And just like anger, resentment can be repurposed as well. You can turn it into focus. You can turn it into boundaries. You can even turn it into softness. That kind of says, I won't let life harden me, even though it tried. Now, I am not going to try to sugarcoat this. The healing from that anger isn't going to be instant. For most of us, we don't get to just wake up one day all zen and unbothered and then be like, yeah, so this for life. That would be great. But for a lot of us, we're probably still going to be functional and a little bit furious at the same time. The goal is just to make sure that that fury doesn't drive the car. You can cry and still get up the next day and keep building. You can resent that nobody showed up and still show up for yourself. It's not about deleting the emotion, it's about learning how to retrain it. Let emotions be your data and not your dictators. Ask them what they're trying to tell you and then decide how you want to respond. I know I went through a feeling where I was just really resentful. I was really, really resentful towards a lot of people in my life. I felt like I was doing a lot, like a lot. And I felt like the only time I got the same energy back is if everybody recognized I was either about to explode or break down. And I resented the fact that I had to be at extremes for people to stop and be like, yo, wait, let's check on rest. Let's make sure rest is good. Let's actually rally around rest, right? And the truth of the matter, a lot of that was actually about the way I had learned to love people and I had allowed people to love me, right? And so for me, when I had that moment of like, okay, you're having a lot of feelings of like anger and rage towards people you actually really love and people you actually really, really care about. And I had to ask myself, okay, what are these chill feelings trying to tell me? For me, it was, hey, you're going back into your old ways of loving by doing. And when you're a person who loves by doing, that means I always have to do for you. And when you're always in go mode for people, you don't have any rest in your love, then love can feel very, very exhausting. Love can feel very, very tiring. Love can make you feel like I need to retreat from love. And it can make you not want to do the love thing. And I'm not even talking on romance. That's a whole other thing. I'm talking about in friendships. I'm talking about in family. I'm talking about with your job. I'm talking about with your career, the things you love, with your creativity, the things that you love. But if I learn to love without any rest, well, then after a while, love is going to exhaust me and then I'm going to resent it because I want to do this thing, but all I do is put in. And so for me, when I sat there and I asked myself, okay, what you're trying to tell me, and it was, hey, you have to go back to retraining yourself on love. And here's the truth, I have to retrain myself every couple years. Like this is a continual cycle for me. I'm not even gonna hold you, I do a good job of it for like a good year, maybe year and a half, and then I slowly should ride back into it. And again, it's hard to unlearn something that's been your mode of operation for 30 something years. And you can want to kick yourself. I get mad. I want to kick myself all the time because I'm like, yo, you know better. How did you even slip back in here? And I had to learn to give myself grace of like, yo, this is literally how you learn to operate it. Also, it works when you do it. It works until it gets to the point that it feels like it's killing you. But it makes shit feel like it's running so much smoother in your life. And it's hard to not fall back into that trap. But again, that's why you have to sit and ask yourself, okay, what are my feelings actually trying to tell me? So when I recognize my feelings were telling me, hey, you went back into an old pattern of taking rest, it's reciprocity out of the way you interact with others, the world, your creativity, your work, and the things that you do. I was like, oh, cool. I have to learn rest again. I have to get rest again. I had to go back into, no, I don't want to answer the phone. I don't feel like talking, so I just won't talk. I'm not going to force myself to talk because they need me and what they going to do without me and I'm their support and da da da. I don't want to. I deserve rest. I had to go back into, I just want to be out in nature, to be honest. I'm gonna go out in nature. I want to go out and explore. Y'all don't want to explore. Y'all got to make up times and when you can do. I don't feel like waiting for y'all. I'm gonna go by myself and explore. I'm gonna go back and doing the things I love without asking permission or asking or having to be the one that rallies and organizes. I am just going to go back to doing. That's what my body was telling me. That's what my emotions were telling me. You're tired of holding back. You're tired of lifting up. And you're tired of hand holding. You need rest. You need exploration. You need to put back up stronger boundaries. And I've talked about this before. Also, we need to check in with our boundaries because I know one thing that slips me up is I always lie to myself and say that I am great with boundaries. And it's not a full lie because I am great with boundaries, but it's in very particular areas. Like I'm amazing with boundaries with romantic partners. Perfect with it. I ain't got no problem telling no Negro no, and I ain't got time and leave me the fuck alone. Perfect on that. I have amazing boundaries with most of my family. Emphasize on most. There are certain people in my family that I just avoid because I struggle with saying no to them. I struggle with having boundaries with them. I struggle with not going to saving mode with them. That has just always been our relationship, and I don't know how to stop. We're working on it. We're working on it. Currently, the way I'm working on it is we only have one phone call a month where I allow you to stress me out. And then I got to fix whatever problem you bring to me. And then we'll And then I will dodge your phone calls for another month so I can rebuild up my energy. I am working on y'all. We'll see. But one of the areas I've always struggled with though is friendships and like work, right? And with friendships, it's because I really see a lot of my friends as my family. It's my family that I got to choose. And so a lot of the love that people have for family, right? When they're like, blood is thicker than water, do whatever, we forgive everything because that's family, blah, blah. I don't really have that for family, but I do have that for friends. And the reason why I have that for friends is like, because I can choose y'all. And that means when I chose y'all character, I chose your personality. I knew those things and I decided to love you anyway. You know those things about me. You decided to love me anyway. You didn't feel forced to love me. And so I really, really, the people that I am close with, I'm like, okay, this is really a thing. It can be hard for me to like do that pullback. It can be very, very hard for me to uphold those boundaries and be like, oh my gosh, you're exhausting me. And not be like, yo, you're exhausting me. You're asking me to carry too much. It can be very, very hard for me to uphold boundaries there when I know I'm exhausted, when I know I feel like things are unfair. I know when I feel like things are unbalanced. It can be so hard for me to keep my boundaries in those areas. And that's the same thing with work, right? Because there's a lot of key components to what I do for work that just come natural to me because of who I am as a person, right? And so, like who I am as a person is, I'm a person who, like, if I can see that a person needs help, I'm gonna just help you. And so sometimes what can happen with work, at least for myself, is I will run myself ragged. I will run myself ragged. I'll say yes to too much. I'll take on too much. I ignore too many things, especially those of us in the helping profession. Like, especially when you work in like nonprofit. I'm not in nonprofit now, never again. Never the fuck again. But I have worked in spaces like nonprofit, private agencies, little owned small businesses, government corporations. But a lot of times when you work in these type of institutions, you're working with people like clients who are amazing. There are such amazing people that just really need someone to help teach them the skill, that encourage them, to remind them of their greatness, right? And so that part's easy, but sometimes you're working with these evil ass corporations and organizations, right? They aren't doing right by the clients. They're not doing right by the workers. Their policies make no sense, especially when you're in like a helping person's career profession. You can get trapped in these cycles because you're like, I really want to help the clients though. And so you're doing things that are exhausting yourself, that are driving you crazy, because the policies of the agency or the people or the boss or like the little owned company, you're like, they're growing, they'll learn, whatever. You'll just get yourself in these circumstances where you're like, but it's the right thing to do for the people. And it's killing you. And it's killing you. It's one of the things I talk about a lot when it comes to like social workers, is a lot of times we burn out really quickly and then people assume it's the clients, right? Especially depending on the population you work with. People are like, oh, that must be so hard. And oh, that's such a struggle. And I would say for 85% of the therapists I know, the clients are not the hard part of the job. But boundaries was definitely like one of those things that I had to like remember myself, like, hey, yes, you're good in boundaries in certain areas, but there's other areas you tend to slip in, and being honest with myself about that and making myself kind of do that check in on, okay, this is where you slip up, this is where you struggle. So what's really going on here? Is this you slipping up again? And yeah, just like a Scooby Doo monster, when I pulled the mask off that thing, it was never some mysterious monster ruining life. It was always the same old everyday villain, which was my lack of boundaries, which was the very old same things that I, struggled with, and having to be honest with myself about that struggle. And again, deciding how I wanted to respond when I'm being honest with myself about my feelings and my part in it. Now, here's the thing, for a lot of us, people are eventually going to show up. And I do think, just from a spiritual level, that this is because our energy changes. When you stop going from like begging to building, or from going from, and you start going from like attracting from chasing, when you stop needing a savior, a lot of times that's when genuine allies arrive. It sucks, right? I hate that that's how the universe is set up. Like, give me the help when I need it, when I'm crying, when I'm like, hey, I need a teammate who's like actually going to, work as hard as me at this project, give me family, at this project, don't make me carry this whole company on my shoulders. That's when I need you to send a teammate. And it's not until you like, fuck it, I'm gonna create my own company, I'm gonna run this my own way. And that's when it's like, hey, can I invest in you? Can I help you out? And it's like, I needed that help. I needed the help last year when I was on the verge of tears. I don't know why it works like that, but for a lot of us, that is how it works. It's not because you demanded it, it's because the energy changed and your self sufficiency made space for reciprocity. The challenge then usually, though, becomes trust. Can I let someone help me without assuming that they'll disappoint me or they'll leave me hanging? Or for some of us, can you integrate your support without losing yourself? Again, that's the reintegration process. Learning that independence was never meant to be full isolation. It's just the bridge. And sometimes we do got to log in and go, all right, let me put on my cape and I guess I'm just going to rescue myself. And I can feel like every day, every day that I'm choosing to get up, try again, care again, that I am my own hero in the background. And the world just continues to spin. People are coming and going. But you can still show up every day and be your constant. And you don't have to apologize for locking in. And you don't have to rush the progress. And you don't have to be happy about it. Don't shame your anger. Strength does not have to be loud or glamorous or Instagrammable. It can be quiet. It can be intentional. It can be sacred. And it can come with some tears. And the truth of the matter is, yep, some of us do have to save ourselves. And that can just be a phase. That can be the life that we signed up for. But allow yourself to be, but it's okay to grieve the fact that that is where you are and that is not where you expect it to be and that you have feelings about it. You don't have to pretend to be happy about it. You don't have to pretend that strength is so much fun. And strength does not have to be hashtagable. I'm hoping that each and every one of you can have the support that you crave, that you need. But I also hope that you allow yourself the grace that you need while you don't have it and still desire it. So, yeah, tomorrow you have to get up. You got to put on your cape and you got to do that thing that you do again. And it's okay if you do with a little frustration. It's okay if you do with a couple of tears. Just don't drown in the tears. And it's okay if there's days you have to take that cape off. And you're like, I can't do saving, I can just do being. Okay, then simply be on those days. All I'm simply trying to do is remind you to take care of your mind, your body, and that brave little piece of you that still wants somebody to show up. But even if they don't, you still show up for yourself. And you are graceful and you are loving and you are kind to yourself as you are doing that. Now, that's all I have for this week's check-in. If this resonated with you, let it. Don't rush to fix the feelings that surface. They're proof that you're still soft enough to feel, strong enough to survive. I will have another check-in for you next Sunday. Hopefully this November is softer to us, is nicer to us, is loving towards us, and all the good things that can follow. Be sure to like and follow us on Instagram. If you like the podcast, leave us a review wherever you're listening. Leave us some review with words. Definitely share the podcast with others. And again, you hear the sound of my voice again next Sunday. Bye.